I was so nervous in the shower getting ready to talk for this. I was like, I don't know if my answers are gonna be. Don't give me the villain edit. Don't Fifi O'Hara me out here in these streets. My name is Maya Carter. My pronouns are they, them, and I also use she, her. I think I first got a sense or felt or opened myself to the reality that I'm a member of the LGBTQIA+ community. In high school, I went to an all-girls school, and I think pretty quickly found myself opening myself to the fact that people who were perceived as men were not the only people that I was attracted to. I don't think I had all the language back then. And looking back on my life now, I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I probably definitely thought that my first grade teacher was like really cute, and I didn't know what to do with that. I come from a religious background, so there was a lot of, I think, kind of turning that off until I kind of was like, you know what? I can't. It's part of me, it is me. And I think when I got to college, I kind of really let myself be out. I know when I kind of really opened myself to being out, and not just as like a queer woman at that time, but now, you know, as a non-binary person, I tended to look a lot at, you know, people I know, people I see on the internet, people whose like work I consume, who, you know, were queer or of a non-binary identity, and wanted to like, you know, model myself maybe after them in terms of like my body and what I looked like. And it definitely takes some, I think, unlearning to be comfortable, for me to be comfortable in me presenting my queerness, me living in my body just the way that it is. A lot of times there's a very, especially in like, you know, non-binary AFAB communities, in the mainstream media, there's a lot of a certain, you know, I am perfectly androgynous and I am a sample size 2. This almost kind of untouchable, and in a lot of cases, very like white way. I think coming into myself, I'm like, I don't know if my black body really fits into any of these places, really fits into any of these looks. So I think the mainstream media definitely has a lot to do with queer bodies wanting to look a certain way and trying to find the best way for them to look a certain way. And sometimes it's healthy and sometimes it's not. And that's hard. As a black person in this country, you spend a lot of time absorbing messages that your body is inherently wrong somehow, that there are things about your body, about its size or about its color, that label it offensive. I struggled with an eating disorder when I was in high school, and I didn't really know what else I could control, so I was like, I can control me, I can control my body. So I did. I'm an actor. I went to school for theater, and that's a trip, right? Because you've got everybody saying that, you know, to be a commercially successful actor, you have to look a certain way and sound a certain way and be a certain way. You know, you're working out all the time and movement and you're sweating, and then maybe you're still not who they're looking for. I'm still doing some unlearning, some undoing of a lot of things that I've been told about my body. In the church, when you grow up, when you have a religious background, I know at least for me, I received a lot of messaging that just like my body, that there are parts of my body, right, that are no-go areas and places where you should be ashamed if you even really think about it in a way that is pleasurable or good. In my life now, I think I am kind of removing myself from a lot of shame about just having a form and being a person who derives pleasure from their body, and that pleasure is a good thing, and that like enjoying my skin and my curves and the way that all of that feels is good. You know, I have a lot of work to do in terms of letting myself just be free in this world. Even if I'm silent, there are still going to be systems in place that are strategically working to oppress me and people who look like me, to oppress queer people. And think for me now, I'm trying to reach a point in my life where it's like, there is no point in trying to silence myself, because that doesn't serve me or my communities. We are allowed to take up all the space. We are enough. We're never too much. Black queer bodies are sacred. Black queer people are sacred and beautiful.